Hello everyone, welcome back, and it's a very good evening as well. Here we are back live once again then for the WCS GP3 Championship, and we've already reached round 7 then. Today is the midpoint of the season, and we're coming to you live from Brno in the Czech Republic, or Czechia, as they've been knowing that they want to be called in the media, but I don't know, I guess various reasons. But anyway, enough of that. We are here for GP3, and I'm already digressing as I take along. I'm Sam Jones. I'll be your commentator for today, and we'll hope you'll be able to join us for the rest of this evening's action. We've got races coming to you live, as we do with the GP3s. It will be a feature race followed by a sprint race. So for the next couple of hours, we'll hope to keep you thoroughly entertained with all the action. We've already had qualifying then, and we're currently in the warm-up session. At the moment, got about 4.5 minutes left to go. So all the guys just pounding around the track at the moment, just getting used to everything before they go to race for real. Pedro Gomez then currently leads the warm-up session. He's done up in 40.8, and well, that's quite clear of Chris Kinsman, but no one else is really putting in a time at the moment. I think a lot of these guys are just working out what's going on, just getting their fuel levels sorted out. It looks like a few are doing a bit of last minute preparation. They haven't quite sorted out what they need to do in terms of fuel, so keep an eye on all the proceedings and see what's going to happen. There's 26 cars in the field right now. That's a nice healthy grid once again, and good for the championship as well. The championship is, of course, still going very well at the moment, and Wupke Hoekstra currently leading the championship then, as he has been for quite a few of the rounds so far this season, and he's been on a very strong run of form, consistent more than anything. He's only picked up one win this season. It's surprising to say that, but 6 second place finishes and a third place finish to his name as well out of the first 12 races is very good. Very good indeed. Only had one finish outside the top 5, and that's still his paying finish as well. So the Hoekstra has been on quite a charge, just racking up the points each and every race, doing enough and extending his lead each time as well. He's currently got a 30-point lead over Tobias Olsen for Ice Cold Racing in second place in the championship. So after that, still looking pretty good. We've had 4 guys break the 100 point barrier so far. Stefan Rualt in third with 122. That's 15 points behind Tobias Olsen, and Jonathan Holmes as well, who's managed to score 106 points over 16 points behind Stefan Rualt at the moment. But he has been doing well himself, picking up a win so far this season. Had a few podiums as well. Well, not the best of results last time out in Canada though, so he'll hoping for a little bit. So of course that disconnection that he suffered, which meant Stefan Rualt was all by himself for him in first race in Canada, but of course took the victory there. He really was on form last time out. Showed a great pace by picking up a podium in the second race as well. And it was Jeffrey Fournier who picked up his first win of the season in the second race, and for a driver who'd only just managed to get to the top 10 a few times, that was a very good result for him indeed, and hopefully he can try and continue that. So I'm just having a look through the drivers we've got here today, seeing if he is around. I can actually see him at the moment, so whether he's just suddenly going to appear right before we go to the race. Oh, he's got about a minute to do that actually. We've got a minute left in this form session. We'll have to wait and see. Where's his time though? He currently leads the warm session at the moment, 1:39.8 to his name, and we've had 6 drivers managing to set a lap time. It's like quite a few of the guys out here, like I was saying, just getting to grips with everything. few practice stops as well, always worth doing. I've noticed in this series it seems to be a little bit difficult sometimes maybe to hit the marks in the pit box. Quite a few drivers have overshot their pit box on a few occasions, so certainly one that's not a bad idea to do a bit of practice of. While we wait for the start of the race, just have a quick look at the team standings at Championship as well. Nice cold racing with Tobias Olsen and Johan Lindberg are leading that at the moment with 204 points. But not too far behind them is Positive Sim Racing. And, well, they've been switching around their drivers a little bit. Menno Clant is here today for Positive. Do we have a second Positive car in the field? No, we don't. I can't see a second car, so neither Lars Brugman or Sven de Vries are here either. So just one car for Positive, which is really going to hurt their championship challenge at the moment, if that's the case, especially with both the ice cold drivers turning up. And Holland Racer Team, who have done very well with different results. Matthew Williams and Gerrit de Vries as well. They've also had a good run of form. It looks like Gerrit de Vries is back in the Holland Racing car as well. They have brought alongside him, of course. Tech Racing are in fourth, for further 4 points behind Holland Racing Team, with Wupke and Rennick Hoekstra, the father-son combination. And of course, Wupke leading the championship has done an excellent one. Is Rennick just adding to that a little bit as well in terms of points, just get this team where they are. But Wupke certainly got the majority of it. 167 out of the 168 points, I believe he's gained. And then just to round out the top 5, really, and of the main championship challenges, because Enterprise GP3, who are in 5th place, they have 150 points, 18 points behind Tech Racing, with Dan Brewer and Antonio Janovic. And I can see both of them here today. So they'll be hoping for the best to try and just move themselves up the championship a little bit, because they really are at the bottom of the top 5, the big 5 teams championship, because after that it is a big gap down towards the rest. We've got TG Racing and Multiballs quite close together. As our Performance and Walters in 8th and 9th, add MDL Motorsports in 10th to that as well. And there is very few points then between Stax Racing, Racing Team Schroeter, Satellite Racing, TVR Blue Boss, before you head further down to the back with Intrepid Motorsport, Majority Racing, JP Performance 15th, 16th, and 17th, and then of course we still have the WCS Open team managed to pick up a point last time out in Canada, which I believe was with Vincent Dyke. Who, let's see, has he got the date? Let's hope he has. Yes, he's with MDR Motorsports today, so he'll be hoping to add to their tally. So we've come to the end of the walk, and interesting enough, it is raining here, the warm-up session, but of course that doesn't mean we're going to see rain in the race. Very much. So once we go to the race, it could be absolutely different. We could have perfect sunshine. So we'll find out what happens. I believe waiting for Menno Clant, I think, who's disappeared, and then we'll be going racing. So find out about that in a second. Once we do go to the grid, I'll give you a rundown of the grid, of course. All 26 drivers who will be taking the grid, hopefully enough. And you can find out where your favourite driver is for today. So like I was saying, just waiting a few more seconds. So whilst that's going on, discuss Bruno a little bit. Like I said, tracking in the Czech Republic, and I've mainly known it in the past for touring cars and of course bike racing, and it pretty much opens itself up with both forms of racing really, because this track does host a lot of very long corners with long radiuses, and it feels like the kind of corner that you just want to put the power down and you can't quite do it. Plenty of chicanes as well, with turns 4 and 5, 12, 13, 14 and 15, all chicanes. You could even add 7 and 8, 9 and 10 to that mix if you wanted to. Slightly different. Certainly, in terms of a track, it often reminds me of Hungary a little as well, in Budapest, because just the way the corners are, and perhaps not the best for overtaking, but don't expect to not see any overtaking, because we have seen plenty of it this year in the GP3. These cars really have been set up quite nicely so that the drivers are able to follow each other very well. Looks like we had a little bit of an issue there with the setting of the grid, so fortunately gone back to warm up just for a second, but I think all the grid will be reformed as it is being done right now. So give it a couple more seconds, and there we go. Thank you, nice done. We have a minute now until the race starts. Then drivers all have time to get onto the grid. Get going for the race. Daniel Brewer, then, he is the opposite today for Enterprise GP, continuing to show what good form he has, as well as the team as well, because Heljanovich is lined up in third place, and Enterprise definitely seem to be able to get it right in qualifying. Perhaps not always right in the race, which is why they're not doing bad in the championship, but they could be doing even better. They could definitely be in the top 3, maybe if they had a bit more luck and well, a bit better running in some of the races. Daniel Brewer, though, of course, he's picked up 2 wins in this season so far. One of only 2 drivers to have done so, himself and Stefan Ruart. So not too bad for him. Of course, he's missed a round and a half as well. So because he did take part in the second session in Spa, and we do get the cars underway then for this warm-up lap, and it looks like we've got no rain, but it's certainly the opposite for the track, because it's looking fairly wet out there right now. Blue skies, but the track does look very damp indeed, with all the spray that's being kicked up by Daniel Brewer, and the cars behind really going to struggle for a bit of visibility. It looks like, though, most of these drivers are going out on actually, no, it's a mixed bag really, so I'll take you through it and I'll tell you what tyres each of the guys are on. So Daniel Brewer takes pole position there for Enterprise on the soft compound tyres. Stefan Ruel is on the wets in second place, with Antonio Heljanovich following him on the wets also. Pedro Gomez lines up in fourth place, good at qualifying for him. He's on the softs, with Wout Joestra also on the softs too for CM Tech Racing. Chris Shepherd in sixth, the soft tyre runner, with Wesley Stefano in 7th, again on the softs. Johan Lindberg in 8th, also on the softs. And Tobias Olsen for Ice Cold Racing in 9th, again another driver on the soft. So looking like the preferred tyre, the top 10 at least. Jonathan Holmes, he rounds out the top 10 then. Not the best qualifying for him, but not too bad for TG Racing, again on the soft tyre. And a Clunt also on the softs. Rennick Hostra, good qualifying for him. He starts in 12th, also on the soft tyres. Joe Watts in 13th, soft tyres also. Thomas Andriamaharosoa, I probably butchered that, so apologies to you, Thomas, but he is starting in 14th, and he's on the harder tyre. Now, that's interesting, because I'm not sure if they have to use both compounds of tyre, because it's effectively a wet start, but who knows? I'll have to find out more on that one. Kogalka then, I've not heard of him before, so I think we've got a new driver to the league here. Mike Galka from Multiforce GP in 15th. He's starting on the softs with Jacob Pegg on the softs as well in 16th. Ryan Ash and Chris Kinsman in 17th and 18th on the softs. Roy Basal and Vincent Lake 19th and 20th on the softs. I have a feeling that most of the guys here are on the softs. Gerrit De Vries and Casper Owen in 21st and 22nd. De Vries is on the softs and Owen's on the harder tyres. Eric Stamford in 23rd and Rob Mason in 24th from the softs. Richard Brooks in 25th and Marco Vandenbroek on the hard tyres. Richard Brooks is on the soft tyres. So there's your 26-man grid, and right on cue, and Marco Vandenbroek lines up on the back row of the grid. So we're about to get ready here. It looks as though most of these guys are actually on the dry tyres. I can't see anyone on the wets. I think it must have been a bug for me, so apologies for that. I think everyone's pretty much on the soft tyres here. Just waiting. And here we go, the lights have been on in a long delay there, but we are all ready to go racing and we are underway, and it's quite a mixed start across the field, but Daniel Brewer gets a decent start. We'll have to see how he does down into turn one because it is very wet right now. Driver's really struggling and there's already contact in the back, but Brewer leads then into turn one. Brewer takes second place. It's showing for me that he's on the wet tyres now, so perhaps still a few changes and mixes here. Hoekstra in third with Stefano in fourth place alongside him as they head towards turn 4 and 5 as Stefano goes round the outside of Hoekstra. Nice little move there. Hoekstra trying to go back though, trying to get the position back but not quite able to do it, and further back I think we've had a spin. Someone quite a few drivers spinning there. Vincent Dyke and Pedro Gomez has gone around as well, so bad start for Gomez. Really is difficult out there on the wet, and Antonio Janovic has gone around for fourth place as well. He's off the track and get back on now, down to 11th place and just out ahead of Gerrit De Vries and Menno Klont ahead of him. So who's that? Let's go. Pedro Gomez off again then onto the grass and struggling to get back on. Not a good start to the race for him. He's definitely struggling with these conditions out there. Vincent Dyke also off, as is Michael Gauka. And Roy Vasal has lost the front wing as well. So lots of drivers really suffering out here with the water right now. But Daniel Brewer, he's certainly not suffering. He's got a nice clear track ahead of him because he leads this race so far. Stefan Ruhr is behind him. As is Stefano and Hoekstra. Looks like Olsen as well in 5th place. Looks like top 5 have made a little bit of a breakaway right now on the rest of the field as he across the start finish line. Daniel Brewer's lead then as he crosses the line is only 5/10 of a second then. So Ruhr starting to close him down already. But of course he's going to have to sit in that very, very difficult position of being in the back of another car where the spray's really kicked up in your face. It makes it really difficult to see. Well, it certainly looks like the two have pulled away from the field a little bit here. Jonathan Holmes is challenging Tobias Olsen into turn 1, but just back a little bit now. Holmes having a decent start, getting into 6th place here. And getting on a bit, but so is Hoekstra. He's getting on a bit right now. What is for having a look up the inside of Wesley Stefano here. Very close between the two of them. And maybe a move could be on the books, but not quite then. Although it goes around the outside now. Look at that by Hoekstra. Round the outside then. And takes the position away. Also straight away having a go at Stefano as well as they go through turns 9 and 10. And down the hill towards turn 11. Stefano has dropped back to 5th place then. Jonathan Holmes the next guy behind him. Looking relatively solid at the moment. But back up front, Stefan Roth's all over the back of Daniel Brewer right now, trying all kinds of different lines to get a good slingshot out the corners here as they head back up the hill towards the final couple of corners of 14 and 15 on lap 2 here. And it looks like Pedro Gomez is our first retiree of the race. He retires so bad luck for him. But Ruart crosses the line there, and Daniel Brewer, is he going to have a go into turn 1? No, he's not quite close enough there. But keeping very honest indeed. These two, though, really have pulled away from the rest of the field. There's a 3-second gap between themselves and Whoop Ghoster in third place. So just shows already the kind of speed they've got. Jonathan Holmes then goes to the inside of Wesley Stefano into turn 4. And who's going to be the last big breaker? Stefano trying to hang on around the outside. But Holmes just keeps it nice and neat on the apex, and he takes the position then. So Holmes into the top 5. Past Stefano. Next up for him is Tobias Olsen. Driver who's had a good start so far down the field is Eric Stanford into the top 10 at the moment for Majoric Racing. So really good effort by Stanford. And we'll have to see if he can keep this one up. But that's a nice start for him. You can see though that is definitely starting to dry right now. There's a dry line coming. The cars aren't really kicking up any of the spray. As long as they keep it within that line. So easy to try and push a bit harder, and as soon as you off the dry line, lose all the grip in the world. So really right now, all these drivers are just trying to keep the car on rails. Trying to keep the car pointing in the right direction. As Antonio Hojanovic is off again. So that looks like on the exit of turn 10. And up the hill now, he's losing all kinds of positions. He's down to 15th. And Rennet Kokstra behind him, having a little look, but not quite close enough. So see what he can do. But Hojanovic is certainly struggling with these conditions so far at the start of the race. Jonathan Holmes then into turn 1, and he passes Tobias Olsen then. So Holmes up into 4th, then caught Olsen quickly through that lap. But Olsen hasn't given up yet. He goes to the outside of Holmes towards turn 4. They're going to be side by side into this corner, and Olsen's going to have to try and keep it around the outside. Not quite able to do that though, and Holmes is able to hold on to the position. Now it's going to be cases is if Holmes can pull away, and with Olsen going a bit wide on the exit of 5 there, putting a couple of wheels on the grass, that's not going to help him at all, and really sliding the car. Oh, he's off! Olsen into the wall then, straight off into the wall. We don't often see a mistake from Olsen, as I think Wesley Stefano's going around just ahead as well. So disaster for both Olsen and Stefano, and Limper gets right to the back of his teammate Olsen there, who are still recovering. But huge time loss for those two. And that promotes Chris Shepherd then up into 5th place for Multiples GP. Very good start for Chris Shepherd. He's just been silently making his way through the field, and not doing bad at all at the moment. As Thomas Andriami Hariosa just goes off there, and he rejoins the track in 16th place, coming out of turn 8. He just lost it. Meanwhile, back at the front, Daniel still leads then as he comes to complete yet another lap. Lap 4 completed already, and Stefan Rath's going to have a look to his inside as it peeks further back to see Wesley Stefano's gone off again here, and he's hit the wall quite heavily on the final corner. Is it 15 inside of turn 15? It certainly is. I also then pitting already, so I think some damage for him, and he switches to the hard tyres then. So very early pit stop for Olsen. He's going to do well if he can go the rest of the race distance from here. Maybe the damp track might help with that. Wesley Stefano also in. I'm not surprised after his couple of excursions the past lap. He also switches to the harder tyre. So we'll keep an eye on both Olsen and Stefano, but they're both down in 14th and 16th place respectively right now, thanks to those incidents on the previous lap. I see the car is going to have to think that's Michael Galka. It is for enterprise for multiples, and he's lost his rear wing, so he's going to really have to keep it keep it steady, getting back to the pit lane here. So Roy Bazaar has just retired for 22nd as well. So yet another retiree of the race. Certainly one that's also struggling a little bit. Okay, so I'll apologies, you can hear me having some troubles with my mic as Daniel Brewer's gone off. He's got off there at turn 1, so disaster for him, and he's lost his front wing as well. Oh, Daniel Brewer doing so well in first place and holding off the assault from Ruel, but he is off the track, and without a front wing as well, he's only going to pull down the order, so not what he wants to see at all, and all of a sudden then this is Stefan Ruel who's taking the lead just like he did in Canada here, but he's got Hoekstra right behind him now. Hoekstra's caught up, and yeah, but just Hoekstra falling back a little bit there, but disaster for Brewer. He's still having to make his way around this track and really crawling a little bit. Good to hear that. Apparently my mic okay, so apologies again for that, but hopefully you can all hear me now loud and clear and perfectly. So Ruart's then leading this one, looking a little bit ragged through some of these corners, but certainly probably pushing Roy. He will be pushing very hard right now because, of course, he's got Hoekstra right behind him, who's caught him up very quickly. And now that means that it is a 2-horse race for the lead of this race. Don't forget about Jonathan Holmes, though. He's only a couple of seconds back from Hoekstra, and he's keeping up with him just about. Chris Shepherd, though, quite far back in the field. Good 11 seconds behind the leaders right now. So I think maybe Shepherd had a bit of an excursion on this lap. He was much closer to Holmes than that. And oh no, I think out of the ordinary in terms of times. Struggling for pace a little right now, it looks like. Daniel Brewer, though, he comes into the pits behind Joe Watts, who is a lap down, but Brewer is pitting in. He's going to have to change his front wing. He came in 5th place, so lose any more positions because of that, but certainly lost time indeed. He was about half a minute up the leader at the end of that, and well, this is a very long pit stop for him as well at the moment. Gets his front wing back on, though, and switches over the harder compound tyre. So now he's going to re-emerge onto the track and, well, been a costly one for him. Very far down indeed. In 13th place, 50 seconds off the lead as well. But we know Daniel Brewer, he's very good on pace. And we'll see now if he can try and close that gap in the leaders and try and make up a bit of time. But I think it's going to have to be something special if he wants to win this one today. Antonio Janovic is also in as well then, so it looks like it's been a bad lap. Lap 6 looked like it was a bad one for Enterprise GP because he's without a rear wing. So disaster for the team. 2 drivers starting first and third on the grid, but right now it's not looking good for either of them at all. Daniel Brewer popping himself back up into 10th place, and he's just behind Tobias Olsen on the road as well. Right now, though, Ruel has just set a blistering lap, a 1:44.5 on lap 7, and that was a full 1.5 seconds quicker than Wupke Hoekstra, who set his personal best lap of the race as well. So really, Ruel suddenly come alive here, and he's just gapped Hoekstra, 2.2 seconds between the two of them now, and looking a bit stronger now as Ruel, looking. He was maybe coming under threat a little bit earlier, but certainly gaps definitely seem to be opening up. Chris Shepherd's definitely had a mistake on lap 7 as well. He's now 24 seconds behind the lead in 4th place. But such is the field spread at the moment. He is still in fourth place, even though he's that far behind the leaders. So incredible stuff that we're seeing here. We've already got 4 cars a lap down. We've already had Jacob Peg retire. Vincent Dyke is 2 laps down as well. Yeah, a lot going on right now. And Gerrit de Vries, another victim here of these tricky conditions, tricky drying track conditions. He's lost his front wing as he enters the pit lane for Holland Racing Team. That's not good for them, but of course his teammate Rot is in the lead of this one right now. And still leading it, but Hoekstra certainly looking like he's getting a bit closer. So we might have a race on our hands. And yeah, look at that. The gap is down to 1 second now. Hoekstra does a 1:43.3, so he goes, while Stefan, you might be able to set a quick lap, but I can set one that's even quicker. Ruot did a pretty similar lap to his lap before, 44.5. So Hoekstra right now, the man on the pace, and look at the rate at which he's closed the gap between himself and Ruot. The Holmes has just been left for dust really. You can't even see him in the background. He's that far behind now. But yeah, look at that, half a second then, Hoekstra to Ruot. Oh, but Hoekstra though, it's a huge mistake there into turn 6, I believe that is. Yes, it is. He's just gone off the track, just broke himself a little bit, and all that hard work has kind of been washed away right there, and he's lost a good chunk of time. I'd say probably about 3.5 seconds. He's lost right there, Stefan Ruot. Well, that's for him. And Tobias Olsen. Tobias Olsen is out of this race then, so he looks like he's had an incident, and he has gone. Gomez. He's already left the session. Sorry about that. But no, Tobias Olsen has retired from this race, and that's going to be big for the championship because, of course, he was the closest contender to Hoekstra in the championship before this race, and he won't be scoring any points here in race 1 today. Not going to have a good starting position for race 2 either, with Hoekstra in 2nd place right now. Well, that's only looking better for Hoekstra as it currently stands. He's only going to extend his championship lead. So not the best of laps for Hoekstra. He did a 47.2, which of course creates that mistake that he made in turn 6. Stefan Ruot, on the other hand, did a 44.4. All of his previous laps have been about a 10th second of each other, so very consistent right now for Ruot. Not completely the fastest guy on track because Hoekstra, of course, did a 43.3, and definitely looking like the quicker man right now. Daniel Brewer has just got Rob Mason to move into 8th place, and as he crosses the line to complete another lap, he's certainly starting just to reel the positions back in now. He's a minute behind the leaders though, but getting ever so closer to catch it back up. As Wesley Stefano there. Wesley Stefano is out of this one. He retires from the race. Another driver who is doing well in the championship, top 10 runner in the championship, is having to call this one off early then. Hopefully we'll see him in race 2 as once again Antonio Hojanovic goes for an excursion at the track, and well, this is certainly a race for him. Not looking good at all for him right now. Thomas Andriami Hariosa has pitted in then, and another driver fall victim. He's lost his front wing as in comes driver Holmes then. Holmes in early here, completed the 10th lap of the race, and Holmes appearing to not have any visible damage. Not aware that he hit anything, but he switched over to the harder compound of tyres, and he will return to the racetrack. Johan Lindberg just goes by him for 3rd place, but of course Lindberg still yet to pit in this one. Holmes back out on track. Fourth, Chris Shepherd, of course, who was behind him. He's also pitted as well. He was running in 4th place before this. So he's dropped back to 5th temporarily. Could it be 6th? Eric Stamped still on a good run at the moment. Comes out of the pits and goes round the outside of Shepherd. So there we go. Eric Stamped taking over 5th place at the moment. But you feel that Shepherd on the newer tyres will probably get him back fairly soonish. He'll need to. Otherwise, he's going to lose more time here. Not back in behind Stamp for the moment. Coming out of turn 5, hill towards turn 6, and Shepherd looks the inside of Stamford there. I think Stamford did the right thing. He didn't push his luck too much. He gave Shepherd the inside line and didn't squeeze him too tight into the corners. No point really battling a driver who's in a different part of the race to you at the moment, and Shepherd can keep going and doing what he's doing right now in 6th place. Not bad at all. Monoclon then into the pits for Positive Sim Racing, and yet another driver then who's lost his front wing. It seems to be a driver up at the moment, coming into a change of front wing. We're running out of front wings right now. Galka 2 laps down, he's also having to hit for a front wing as well. So certainly I think they're going to have to do a bit of sharing down the lane. Maybe do a bit of auctioning off some of these front wings that seem to be disappearing all over the track. Ryan Nash then struggles into the pit lane. I think he's had an issue on pit entry down in 17th there, but he gets into the pits. Jonathan Holmes then, he's just got to Johan Lindberg and he moves himself back up into 3rd place. That was important for Holmes because he really needs to get on with it now, having switched onto these harder tyres. But feeling pace day isn't quite enough. Ruat and Hoekstra, those two seem to be in a different league at the front. I think the only other driver that could really match him is Daniel Brewer, but he's all the way down in 7th. He's just past Casper Unwin, and he's down to the back of Eric Stanford then as we head down the hill towards turn 11. Nope, that's turn 6. A little bit similar from the camera angles that I'm seeing anyway. So Brewer then trying to get past Stamp, but just making a few mistakes as Woopke Hoekstra then, he pits in from 2nd place here. So he's reacting first. We'll have to see. Is Ruot going to react to him? But coming out of his percent, he switches to the harder compound tyre. Quick stop for Hoekstra. And Jonathan Holmes is coming down the pit straight now. Hoekstra, he's about to come out of the pit lane. It's going to be close between the two of them. It is going to be really close into turn 1. And Holmes takes it then from Hoekstra. So Hoekstra must have had an issue there. And yeah, I've just been told that Woopke Hoekstra has hit the wall on the entry to the pit. So it makes you wonder, has he taken any damage from that? Did he manage to fix the damage? Because it looked like a relatively quick pit stop there. So it makes you wonder, is Hoekstra's car okay now? Will he have to make another pit stop? We'll have to find out. Thanks to Argo for that information there. Doing an excellent job on the cameras at the moment. But back out on the track, Johan Lindberg has just come out of the pits himself. He's rejoined the track in 8th place then. That'll probably be a net 6th once it all sorts itself out. So who's going on the field? That's Chris Shepherd. Chris Shepherd then, he's gone off at turn 5. It looks like he's made a mistake through turn 4 and just lost control on the outside of the corner, and he's lost his front wing as well. So an absolute disaster for Shepherd. He pitted, he was running in a net 4th place, looking very comfortable indeed. And well, a bit of a disaster for him. Hopefully he can make it back to the pits, all but a bit slow. I think the drivers here are really struggling with this pit entry, because I've just seen Chris Kinsman also make a mistake into the pits here. So I think maybe they're just pushing a bit too hard coming out turn 15 on the entry to the pit lane, and just struggling past because it's still probably a bit wet out there as well on the pit lane entry. So right now then, Ruot's in the lead. He's yet to pit. Holmes is his second then. And Hoekstra back into third place, but I'm sure he's going to chase down Holmes as quickly as he can. Daniel Brewer is up into fourth. Be interested to see if he has to again, or if he's going to try and go the rest of this race on those harder tyres. Of course, he pitted very early on at the end of lap 6, I believe it was. So he's going to have to do about 18 laps. 18 laps on these tyres. Johan Lindberg then into the pits. Nice and clean for him in the set. So pops it into his box. In from 7th place. And behind him, Chris Shepard coming into the for his second pit stop. Unfortunately, one he didn't want to take in, but after a mistake in turn 4, able to do so. Lindberg in the pits for a very long time there. A long stop for Lindberg. But he comes back up now. And yep, just getting confirmation from Argo that Lindberg's having to repair damage there from earlier on in the race. So unfortunate for him. But he's back out in 7th, so didn't lose too much. Be back in the top 5, I believe, once this all shakes itself out. Chris Shepard then out in 9th, so not bad considering what's happened to him, but I think the rest of the field have been through the walls quite equally as well. So no surprises there. And Janovic, the amount of times I've seen him off track, he's found himself in 11th. As I see Gerrit de Vries and Thomas Andrew Hamiosa making a bit of a mistake there. Through turns 1 and 2, they came from a wheel to wheel, locking wheels, and somehow they both kept it out the wall. But kept it off the grass as well. So I don't think that battle is over yet. Andrew Hamiosa catching up with Gerrit de Vries. Looking now to make a move up the inside into turn 6, and he does do, he gets it done. And Richard Brooks actually getting out of the way of the two of them there. Gerrit de Vries just got a bit caught up by that. These guys are all kind of holding up Holmes here as well, as look at that. Andrew Hamiosa gets out of the way. Yeah, Andrew Hamiosa got out of the way there of Jonathan Holmes, and actually lost position to Gerrit de Vries once again. So Johan Lindberg comes back into pits again then. So something's happened here. Is he just doing a drive-through? May have been caught speeding in the pit lane then, because it looks as though he's just taken a drive-through penalty. So another mistake there for Lindberg for him, and he pops back out on track just ahead of Renextra then, so he drops a couple of positions to 9th place. There comes back out ahead of Hoekstra and Janovic as well. Meanwhile, further back up, it looks like Jonathan Holmes has maybe made a slight mistake because he's dropped back to 3rd place behind Wutke Hoekstra. So apologies, I missed that one, but he's now 4 seconds behind Wutke Hoekstra right now. Hoekstra then with 2nd place, and bringing the gap down a bit between himself and Ruot's right now. Hoekstra's doing 1:42.7 for the last couple of laps, so very good laps by him. Ruot is also managed to get himself in 42.7s, but certainly they're both having to deal with a bit of traffic right now. So Casper Olwyn then, he gets from 5th place, taking on soft tyres it looks like, and yeah, soft tyres for him. Lambert comes back out onto the track, and look at this then, all of a sudden it's raining here. You can see it on your screens, it is visibly raining right now, and this is just going to add more to what has been a very chaotic race so far. Then Rob Mason, then he pits in. Now, is he going to switch tyres? Is he thinking about where it's still raining? Yes it is. Certainly still raining right now. Rob Mason though, no, just doing a straight drive through, so perhaps a penalty for him, just like Lindbergh had. And he comes back out on track just ahead of Antonio Hojanovic in 9th place, and then for Rob Mason. But all of a sudden then, this is getting very interesting indeed. It has started to rain once again. How hard is this rain going to be? Is it going to be worth switching to wets, or is it not? Clont then pitted in. He's already been in the pits today. Is he going to switch to the wet tyres? Let's find out. Is he going to take a gamble? He does. He goes onto the intermediate tyres then. So intermediates for Clont. Interesting call there. Rextra also pitting in. He's lost his front wing though. So he will get that one sorted out pretty soonish. And he switches to the intermediates as well. So a couple of guys here deciding to take a gamble, switch over to the inters. Richard Brooks goes into the full wets. He's got nothing to lose. He's in last place. He's gambling on some heavy rain right now. And of course, one guy who might benefit from all of this is Stefan Ruhl, because he still hasn't pitted, though he's coming in right now. He heads into the pit lane, nice and gentle, really getting it steady there into his pit box. Doesn't want to risk losing it on pit entry. Slow into his box as well, super slow. Really slow crawling into his box. Almost like he didn't know where his box was. He switched then onto the harder tyres, so he doesn't think that it's worth switching to the wets here. He's coming back out on the hards. This is interesting right now. Is that going to be a gamble that he's off, or has he made a mistake? Casper Unwin, he's pitted in 8th place, and he's overshot his pit box. Oh, disaster for him. He switches though to the wet tyres. A lot of drivers taking on the wets. Joe Watts coming in as well. I have a feeling he's going to do something quite similar. Yeah, he switches to the inters. So drivers pitting in from all over the grid right now, switching over to the wet tyres. A lot of these guys are trying to stick it out on the dry tyres, hoping that there's just going to be a slight shower, but you can start to see now that there's certainly some spray being kicked up. The track is only getting wetter. The rain continues to fall on the racetrack, and all the drivers looking like they're taking it very carefully right now. Lap times are only dropping. Hoekstra's already dropped a few seconds off best lap time, which he did right before the rain came out. So the track had got to its driest point. It was getting quicker and quicker. And now all of a sudden it's getting very slow again. It is looking really treacherous out there right now. Spray is building up more and more. And we only have 6 drivers left on the lead lap. That is incredible. Such is the field spread here. We still have 20 drivers in the race. 6 retirees so far: Stefano, Olsen, Dyke, Peg, Vassal, and Gomez from this race. But I mean, might be seeing a couple more before the end of this one, because conditions right there not looking very favourable at all. Stefan Rohr though, he comes across the line to another lap. His first lap really out hits. Wookie Hoekstra then follows through, and he does a 1:54.8, really showing how the lap times have dropped off with this weather conditions. Johan Lindbergh in, then back into the pits once again, and he switches to the intermediate tyres then. Intermediate tyres for him. Jonathan Holmes goes through, stays out on the harder tyres. Decides not to pit, and he does 54.1 as well. So again, you can see the times have dropped by a good 10 to 12 seconds already. As Daniel Brewer, after the issues that he had early on in the race, he's now up into 4th place, and only 41 seconds then off the leaders. So certainly closing down a bit. Thanks to Brewer. We've got to find another 20 seconds or so to John Holmes and get back onto the podium. Eric Stanford out there in top 5 at the moment. Top 5 Eric Stanford, really good stuff for him. Whereabouts is he in the championship? Down in 29th, 12 to his name. Best position so far of an 8th place. He had a great round at Silverstone, took the 2 points position, so this is a really good run for him at the moment. I don't want to jinx it or anything. As it looks like then, it stopped raining. So maybe all those drivers who rushed in to switch to the wet tyres, maybe they'll be regretting that right now because the sun's come back in and sorry, the sun's come back out. And the track's only going to start drying once again, as it did at the start of this race. Further back, and a few switches of positions. Like Casper Unwin's got past it, Johan Lindberg here, and taken 9th place then from Lindberg. Unwin's on the better, I should say, tyres. Lindberg's on the intermediates. Expect the wet on Unwin's car's probably going to start to really heat up very soon. So we'll see if he can survive the final few laps of the race, or if he's just going to find it a bit too much of a struggle. Meanwhile, Chris Shepherd in 6th place, he's moving out of the way here because he's being lapped. He has just been lapped by Stefan Ruart. There are only 5 cars on the lead lap of the race. That is quite incredible indeed. Such has been the dominance of Stefan Ruart today. Currently leads this one 13.3 seconds from Wopke Hoekstra, who's a further 11 seconds ahead of Jonathan Holmes. And Holmes is a further 19 seconds ahead of Daniel Brewer. And then you do have to go almost a minute down the road then to get to Eric Sanford in 5th place. Really just show how much of a difference it's been for top few drivers compared to the rest. Marco Vandenbroek has just pitted here for intermediate tyres, so interesting strategy for him. Going to the inters, even though it stopped raining. Very interesting indeed. Lindberg then, he's just passed on win then for 9th place. Just got that position back here. Going through, I believe, set, yep, turns 12 and 13. Oh no, that's it's turn 11, sorry, apologies. Turn 11. Lindberg, he got past on win and he moves back into 9th. And I think those intermediates are working well for him at the moment. On win though, I think the wets starting to struggle here, probably overheating those tyres quite dramatically right now, and he's got to try and hold on for another 4 or 5 laps. Deferral and still pounding away, laps in the low 151s for him, much quicker than Hoekstra and Holmes behind him. Perhaps just adapt to these wetter conditions a little bit better. Again, you can always see it's already dried out fairly well in certain parts. It doesn't really seem to be that much speed being kicked up by these cars at the moment, so not bad at all for the drivers right now. Oh, it's Thomas Andri Ariosa has just gone off the track then in 11th place. He rejoins the track, doesn't lose position, but makes a mistake there, and he's back onto the track right now. So not many else on track to talk about at the moment. Antonio Janovic then, he's starting to close up on Rob Mason for 7th place. And Janovic, who certainly struggled at the start of the race, really with the lack of grip that he seemed to have. He didn't really enjoy the wet conditions, but right now though, making up for it back into 8th and really challenging Mason for 7th right now, all over the back of him. They've really closed the gap between the two of them in the last few laps. We'll have to see, can he make the move, or will Rob Mason be able to hold on to this position? Turn 7 and into turn 8. Not the best part of the track to overtake, really. Mihail Janovic, and he's sat there patiently behind Rob Mason. So keep an eye on that one. Meanwhile, Stefan Ruart has just lapped Eric Sanford, so make that all but the top 4 that have been lapped then. This feature race so far, so many cars going a lap down. Daniel Breaux doesn't look like he'll be going a lap down, so just the top 4 staying on the lead lap right now. Does mean for the rest of these guys though, one less lap that they've got to do right now in these conditions. As Janovic just struggling a little bit. I noticed they're going back up the hill, and he's got to watch out behind him because Jonathan Holmes is coming to lap him right now. These gaps are certainly starting to spread out between the leads as well, because Rualt is doing a really good job here. He's into 47s in terms of his best lap, whereas Hoekstra is still struggling in the 50s and had a very scruffy lap last time out. And that only means that Jonathan Holmes is getting closer and closer to him as well. So with a couple of laps to go in this race, Hoekstra's just got to be careful. Got to make sure he doesn't do anything silly. Casper Unwin then, he's just made a mistake down at the end of the lap, and he's lost his front wing as well, so that's a real shame for Unwin. He was looking like he was on for a top 10 for a time there, but just coming to get into the pits, and he's probably gonna drop back to 15th place right now. Should keep that position though, as Stefan Ruart starts his final lap of the race here at Bruno then. Just one more time around he has to go. There, he's got a very comfortable lead right now of 27 seconds over Wupke Hoekstra. Hoekstra then crossing the lap, crossing the start-finish line to start his final lap as well. And heat 2. Looking like he's going to be on for his second place here. Yet another second place for Hoekstra. His 7th of the season, I believe it'll be. And, well, that's amazing, really. Could have won a lot more races, but maybe not that important, really. He's so consistent that it's just helping him in the championship all the time. As Marco van der Broek pits in then, because he's lost his front wing as well. So yet another casualty this race. So many drivers in the walls. Really, it has been a struggle. These awkward wet, dry conditions. As soon as you get off the racing line, that's it. It's pretty much done for you. But one guy who's certainly been able to keep it pointing in the right direction throughout this whole race is Stefan Ruart. He comes round up the hill now. He's only got a couple more corners left to go. He's led since very early on when he inherited the lead after Daniel Brewer went off on lap 1 in turn 1. And there we go then, Stefan Ruart crosses the line. He wins here in Bruno. He takes his 3rd win of the season and his 2nd win in race 1 in a row as well. Wupke Hoekstra just got a couple more corners to contend with, a few lap cars around him as well. So you just got to be careful here. But it looks as though Hoekstra's going to be able to take this 2nd place. As Rich Brooks very wide to get out of the way. Actually goes into the wall there, so makes a bit of a mistake. Boaks then crosses the line. He takes second place and only helped his championship as well. 40 points for him. For Homesen across the line, quite slowly there. Don't know if he ran out of all, but he takes third. 9 seconds behind Hoekstra. Daniel Brewer then he'll be coming across the line fairly soon. He's just got to get the hill. Just come out of turn. Oh, hold on a sec. Daniel Brewer here, he's lost his front wing. It's not going to matter though, because everyone behind him's a lap down and already finished the race. So Brewer can't lose any positions here. He's just got to do the shameful act of driving the final lap of the race without a front wing. The second time this race he's lost a front wing. But somehow he still ended up with a fourth place. So not a bad result at all. He might kick himself a little bit, because he could have won this one. He had the pace. It was going to be a good fight between himself and Ruot, I feel. But in the end, a few issues here or there. But he crosses the line nonetheless, takes fourth place, and good result for him. That's it for your drivers on the lead lap. It's a very short lead lap countdown this time around. Usually I'm listing down to about 15th or so for all the lead lap finishes. But don't worry, I'll still go through the rest of the field for you. Eric Stanford then, a great result for him. His best result here this season. Really good to pick up 5th place there. A lap down, but that doesn't really matter. He's beaten a whole host of very good drivers, so I hope he's pleased. I hope he's pleased with that one indeed. And I hope that he is able to take that as positive and continue with it. Of course, he'll be in the reverse grid race 2 as well. Chris Shepherd then had a few excursions here or there, and potentially could have finished. Well, he probably would have finished in the top five had it not been for them. Maybe even the top 4 as well. But he finishes 6th. Rob Mason in 7th had a bit of a quiet race. Didn't see too much from him. I think he had a couple offs here or there, but who did it in this race? But still, good result for Rob. Mateo Janovic in 8th had a lot of offs early on in the race. It was pretty much every lap I saw him going off, but somehow recovered to finish in 8th. Then Johan Lundberg in 9th had a few issues with fixing stuff in the pits and driving penalties as well. Thomas Andrea, I can't even say it, can I? Thomas Andrea Mia Harry. So I do apologise, Thomas. Please correct me on my terrible pronunciation, but he gets top 10. Great result for him. Really good in 10th place. Mero Klont in 11th. Chris Kinsman in 12th. Goat Vries in 13th. All those drivers 5th to 13th for a lap down then. Then we move on to our drivers 2 laps down. That was Rennick Hoekstra 14th. Casper Unwin in 15th. Ryan Nash in 16th. Joe Watts in 17th. Michael Van den Broek in 18th, with Michael Galka on his debut. A difficult debut, really, in the rain on a track like Bruno. 3 laps down in 19th, and Richard Brooks rounded up finishes in 20th place, 4 laps down. Wesley Stefano, Tobias Olsen, Vincent Dyke, Peg, Roy Vassal, Andrew Gomez, all didn't finish the race. Retired very early on after lap 8. We didn't really have any more retirees. So not too bad in terms of that. Quite a few drivers there just having a few troubles there today. Well, it's been an action-packed first race. Perhaps not quite all the exciting close racing that we usually get, especially at the front. I think the weather really did spread the field out quite a bit. But still, Rot can't be unhappy with his result here and his performance as well. It was a faultless performance, really. That led from very early on and just did an excellent job, really, to pick up yet another win. And really going to help him in the championship as well. It'll move him ahead of Tobias Olsen then in the lead of the championship. Into the second place of the championship. And he will close down Hoekstra just a little bit. By about 3 points, he'll gain on Hoekstra. So the gap, which was 45 between the two of them, will be 42. So not quite a daunting gap, but getting there. Jonathan Holmes with his third place also good for his championship. Again, he's going to really benefit from that. Picking up third in the race and fourth in the championship. He'll be closer to Olsen, of course, one of the retirees here today. And at least kept in contact with Rialto and Hoekstra as well. So certainly looking like it's maybe 4 men for the championship, maybe 5, because Daniel Brewer, who's 5th in the championship, also picking up a 4th place. So again, a good result for him, and he will be keeping tabs with the leaders. He'll have moved into the 100-point plus bracket as well. But now we're going to have a bit of a break. Going to go for a bit of a warm-up as well. And then we'll go and have the second race as well. The second race, of course, is a sprint race. And it's going to be, it's usually about half distance of the first. So expect 12 laps for the second race. It's certainly going to go by quickly. No pit stop. There's no mandatory pit stop required in the second race. And the top 10 grid will be reversed also. So that means that Thomas, Andrea, me, Harry, Soa will be taking pole position. I hope I'm getting better at saying it, but maybe I'm actually getting worse. I don't know. Johan Lindberg, he'll be starting in second with Antonio Janovic in third, Rob Mason in fourth, Chris Shepherd in fifth, Eric Stanford in sixth, Daniel Brewer in seventh, Jonathan Holmes in eighth, Wood Gokestra in ninth, and Stefan Roth, he'll be starting in 10th place, of course, after winning race 1. So the cars go out warm up now. Nice and sunny for warm up, but don't expect it to stay that way. Still looks a bit wet on track as well offline, so very difficult stuff at the moment. Like I say, 5 minutes warm up, and then we'll switch over to the second race. So it's a perfect time then. Go grab a drink or anything if you need it before we get going for the second race. The same really applies to drivers as well. Gives them a chance to have a break, or gives them a chance to get back out there, try and work out what's going on. Stefan Roth has headed onto track as well, so even the race winner from race 1 isn't completely happy with everything, and he's decided to get out on track and just see what he's got underneath him. Maybe check out the track conditions as well, because that could be important come the first couple of laps in race 2. So excuse me there for a couple of minutes. I really need to give my voice a break. But well, hopefully it'll be all the best as well, because hopefully we'll have a very exciting race 2 coming up in a second or two. Whilst still got about half a warm up left, then we'll just have a look at what's also coming up in the calendar. So in terms of action coming your way, of course, Monday next week, same time, it will be the Renault Megans this time around. They'll be coming from its exact same track. So we'll be back here once again with a bit of touring car action. And I'm sure I'll be joined in the box by Joshua Anderson as well. So can look forward to having a good little chat with him and catching up on all the events of Norris Ring as well, because of course I missed that one. Very gutted indeed to miss that race. I really was looking forward to seeing a race around there. As per usual, I like to book my holidays on the racetracks that I really want to see some action on. So it's only my fault really. But then in 2 weeks' time, GP3s will return as well, or some more action at the Nürburgring. So we'll be going over to Germany, just over the border then really, in the Nürburgring. And yeah, it should be good there as well. Still very long way to go in the championship, of course. Many races to come after this in the GP3s. Why not? I'll reel through the rest of the tracks that we got coming up. So, like I said, in 2 weeks' time, we've got the Nürburgring. After that, it's Suzuka in Japan. We've got Sepang in Malaysia, and it's Budapest, Hungary. Magny-Cours in France. So, good old track there that we really get to see much of anymore after F1 doesn't go there. We round out the season at Imola in Italy, often it as the San Marino Grand Prix. Of course, they managed to fit a track in San Marino. There wouldn't really be anything else of San Marino. It's the game. Well, we come to the end of the qualifying then. Sorry, qualifying. What am I on about? It's been a long day. We come to the end of the warm session then. And Daniel quickest in the warm-up over Stefan Rolt. But very much only a couple of drivers getting out there. There's some time really. Looks like there's a rain there at the end of the session. So nothing too much, and it stopped pretty quickly as well. So it'll be interesting to see. Are we going to have a rain in race 2? How's the track conditions going to be like at the start of race 2? I wouldn't actually mind a bit of dry running just to see where everyone is in the dry, like a completely dry track. Either that or a good downpour, maybe a really completely wet race. But we'll find out in a second. Looks like the grid has been set then, and indeed we do switch over to the race. So give it a minute, and everyone will be out on the track. But of course, Thomas, Andrea, me, Harry, so I think maybe I'm getting better at that. Either that or I completely missed it. But I feel I'm getting better at your name, Thomas. So please give it to the end of the broadcast before you judge me on my terrible pronunciation skills. Something really that a commentator shouldn't have, but that's why I'm only an amateur commentator, and certainly not a professional, because I'm nothing like professionals at all. But I digress once again, and it's the way when you spend a good couple of hours talking to yourself. I'm doing right now. Jonathan Holmes then, waiting for him to come out on track. Chris Shepherd as well, and go back to warm up again. So, Johan Lindberg left this session. That's why we have gone back. And back we go to the race. So let's see what happens. Interestingly enough, we're missing 4 drivers then. Race it down to a 22 car grid. Who would that be? I don't see a Pedro Gomez. I'm struggling to think. You know what? Yeah, the whole field is set wrong now. I was looking at that, I was suddenly thinking, why is what Goats just starting in 18th? But of course that makes sense. The field wasn't quite properly set. So let's try again then. This time around, the field is set. So who are we missing then? Trying to work this out. Chris Kinsman hasn't come back, so he should be 12. He's not here. Pedro Gomez isn't here. Tobias Olsen then isn't here either. That's a big name. That I knew there was someone big. I was trying to work out who it is. So Tobias Olsen has not returned either. So no points this round for Tobias Olsen. That is big for the championship then. That is effectively a round missed for Tobias Olsen. That's going to be his 2 worst drops because, of course, in the GP3 series this season, you take your 2 worst races and you drop them. You drop the points for them effectively. So immediately, they're his 2 worst points. He's already had a DNF, of course, second race in Monza. He had a DNF. So that is points lost also right now, and that is really going to hurt him in the championship as well. But nonetheless, let's get focused back on the guys who are actually here for this second race. And of course, as I was saying, Thomas, Andrea, me, Harry, Soa is starting from pole position then for TPR Blue Boss. Johan Lindberg is second with Antonio Janovic in third. Rob Mason is in fourth. The Stacks Racing with Chris Shepherd in fifth for Multiforce and Eric Stanford in sixth after that great run in the first race for him, Majoric. Row 8 is Daniel Brewer for Enterprise and Jonathan Holmes for TG Racing. Watch out for Daniel Brewer because he was incredibly fast in the first race and he'll be wanting to make up for the mistake that he made earlier on. Bobby Hoekstra is in ninth with Stefan Rualt in 10th. So really Brewer, Holmes, Hoekstra and Rualt, they're the guys to watch out for to try and carve the way through the field. Meneklant is in 11th for Positive with Gerrit de Vries in 12th for Holland. Row 7 consists of Rennick Hoekstra and Casper Unwin, with Ryan Nash and Joe Welts behind them on row 8. Marco Vanderbroek is 17th for Race Team Schroten with Michael Galka Multiforce in 18th. Richard Brooks is in 19th for JP Performance with Wesley Stefano starting in 20th for MDR Motorsports, and his teammate Vincent Dyke is starting in 21st with Roy Vazal then for Performance Racing starting in 22nd place and last on the grid. So got through that nice and quickly as Andrea, me, Harry Soa comes to the starting grid on the soft tyres. Let's have a quick look through the field. I can tell you that Chris Shepherd is starting on the hards, as is Jonathan Holmes, interestingly, as is Stefan Ruhl and Gerrit de Vries. Ryan Nash as well, among others. So a little bit of a split here between the softs and the hards. Certainly watch out Holmes and Rualt to see if they made the right decision. They're probably going to be having a bit of an issue. It's going to struggle a little bit at the start of the race, but it should come towards them before the end. Just a warning from Vazal, it's still a bit wet online, but the lights are coming on then. Let's find out what's going to happen. And we are going for race 2. A good start for Andrea, me, Harry Soa. He gets a good start off the line. Lindberg didn't quite get such a good start, and Hiljanovic is side by side with him for second place going into turn 1. They stay side by side, wheel to wheel then, so they come through the first couple of corners, and top 10 or so they come out all clean. It looks like Wesley Sparno though at the back has major damage, losing his rear wing. Disaster for him then. We'll have to keep an eye on him. Like, it's been a racing weekend for Stefano, but further back up front, Andrea Miharisoa still leading in. Heljovic in second, Lindberg in third, Mason into fourth, Bruno in fifth, Shepard in sixth, Hoekstra in seventh, Stafford in eighth, Royalty in ninth, but John Holmes slipping back into tenth. As Rennick Hoekstra goes around there and collects someone. Who was that on win? And Vincent Dyke as well have all been collected. And Rennick Hoekstra is without a rear wing as well, so it's not a good race for him. He's going to be spending a lot of time in the pits, and he's struggling to get back as well, of course, without any kind of rear downforce. A lot of the downforce of the car has been lost as Roy Vassal is off as well at turn 9. He's gone off the track and dropping down the order also. But back up further at the front when it Hoekstra then gets round the outside of Chris Shepard and in turn 14, and he makes the position up. As look at that, Shepard's really having to spend a little. Rourke goes past Stanford, and Holmes is trying to get past Stanford also. He's got to run out the final corner and across the start finish line, and they're going side by side into one. Can Holmes break later than Stanford? Wheel to wheel, and Holmes to position then. He follows through eventually. There's a bit of time there, but Hoekstra then another position him. He's past Lindberg coming out of turn 3, and he takes 5th place. And he's now onto the back of Rob Mason already. And straight away then up the inside of Rob Mason as someone's going around. Who's that? That's Johan Lindberg. He's gone round at turn 4. So positions lost for Lindberg, but Hoekstra up into 4th. He's on his way then. And only 5 seconds off the lead, catching Brewer and Andrea Miharisoa very quickly. So Heljovic then has got past Andrea Miharisoa, so he takes the lead of the race then, Heljovic, and he's already pulled up 2.3 second lead. Daniel Brewer then looking to the inside, but not quite able to take second place away. But really, this is it now for Brewer. He needs to get this position quickly because Heljonovic's teammate is a quick driver, and the more of a gap that Heljonovic can pull out now, better really him is in what is such short race, because already we're coming to the end of lap 2. Oh, look at that! Heljonovic is off on the final corner. He's just speared off. I think he took too much curb coming through turn 14 into the wall then, and returns to the racetrack, but all the way down in 6th place right now. And Holmes is going to be on the back of him as well. But meanwhile, back up at the front, that means Andrea Miharisoa has retaken the lead. But how long though? Because here comes Daniel Brewer coming out of turn 3, looking to the inside, going to try to take the lead into turn 4. Gets the position there, gets it done. Hoekstra trying to follow through as well, and he does so. So Hoekstra also moves up into second. That was critical because Hoekstra is onto the back of Brewer now, and this is a scrap between the two of them for the lead of the race, and what could be for the win of the race as well right now, because these two have really carved the way through the field very cleanly and very quickly in the first 2 laps. They had everyone ahead of them, and now they can duke it out to try and win this race. Chris Shepard then in 4th. He's not too far behind as Hoekstra's gone off. Just pushing a bit too hard. Comes back out onto the track in second. Didn't spin it, just ran wide on the grass. But certainly lost time between himself and Brewer, and he'll be kicking himself for that, because that is going to be very difficult for him to catch up, especially with the pace that Brewer's got here today. We know what he can do. It'll be a struggle now, Hoekstra, but he's going to give it his best shot, I'm sure. Stefan Roth, though, he's in 5th place, and he's catching Chris Shepard quite quickly as well. Already onto Chris Shepard as we come to the end of lap 3 with the final couple of corners. And Shepard defensive already down the straight. I think he's got good enough, and he realises that and moves back to the other side of the track. all just kind of settling down there at the front at the moment. And Tria, me, Harry Sower, just about holding on to the place. Chris Shepherd behind.
User in your channel timed out. User entered your channel.
Okay, apologies for that. I hope you can hear me. I've just had a few connection issues, but broadcast is still going. I am here. Unfortunately, though, I've lost pictures, so I'm going to try and get them back as soon as I possibly can. The report on what's going on. You can probably see what's happening on the screen. You probably know more than me what's going on right now, but I can't see anything. Okay, again, apologies for that. I am just about on my way in now, so hopefully I can see what's going on and I can report to you. I'm going to be really surprised to see if anything big has happened. let's have a look then. Okay, so we're on lap 7 of 12 then, and Daniel Brewer is still leading this one from Wutke Hoekstra. Deferot, I see, has got past Shepherd, Andrea, me, Harry, Soa as well to move up into third place. So good to see that race is still going. I thought it'd be the server got up first, but it wasn't. It was me that disappeared. So right, let's get back into this then. So Brewer leads. I can't see the gaps at the moment, so once I've got them, I'll update you on what's going on. But it looks like Eric Stam's not doing a bad job in 7th place at the moment either. He's got Menno Klont and Antonio Holjanovic right behind him. Of course, Holjanovic had that issue earlier on in the race. Just sped off when he was leading, going into the final turn, and certainly lost a lot of time indeed after that. And look at that then. Okay, so as they start finish line, Wutke Hoekstra is 6 seconds behind Daniel Brewer, who's leading this one. Stefan Rotz, further couple of seconds behind Hoekstra. Chris Shepherd, a couple of seconds behind him as well. And it has started raining again. So another race here today that's affected by the weather. And well, we'll have to wait and see, because of course we had a bit of rain in race 1, didn't we? After the track had dried out relatively well. We had a short shower for a couple of laps and it went away, so we'll see how long this one lasts. But certainly it's going to be playing on the minds of the drivers. They'll be noticing the track getting wetter and wetter. It's only going to make it more difficult, especially when they're pushing so hard at the moment just to try and get the best possible position in what is such a short race. Johan Lindberg and Wesley Snow are only 2 retirements of the race so far, so bad in terms of the retirees, but now it certainly is getting into business end of race on lap 8, about halfway through at the moment, and the gap has come down a little bit between Brewer and Hoekstra, 4.8 seconds now between the two of them. Certainly is starting to close. Maybe the rain is affecting Brewer a little bit, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, give it another lap or two. The gap's gone out a little bit more, so not the sectors for Hoekstra, and he's certainly starting to come under a bit of pressure from Ruot here as well now. Ruot's really caught up. Remember in race 1 when it had rained and then the track started drying again, Ruot was really quick compared to drivers around him, and maybe he likes his conditions where it is a little bit wet. It looks though like it stopped raining already, and well, indeed it has. That was it. We had about lap's worth of rain, and all of a sudden the sun has decided to pop back out once again. So all those drivers may be feeling a bit uncomfortable by the wet. I'm sure they're very happy to see that one indeed, really. Gap then about 5 seconds between Brewer and Hoekstra, but I think Hoekstra right now certainly looking at Ruot a little bit more. Really closed up now. Make this an interesting battle for second here. Down the order, we might have had a switch for position. Holjanovic it's all back in Mason, but as I say that, he goes a little bit wide and just loses a bit of ground. We'll have to make that back up on Mason after this. So Rot really catching up with Hoekstra right now. Really on the rear wing. But we could surely see a position change in the next lap or two. They head back up the hill then towards the final sheen. Final couple of corners on this track. To see around there. Right, can't quite stick Hoekstra. Just struggling in that dirty air a little bit around such a very long demanding set of corners. But certainly seems to be in the first and middle part of the track that Burot's a bit quicker, and he's able to close the gap up to Hoekstra. Andrea Mihari Soa, though, he's in a very good job here because he's managed to keep it in 5th place. Of course, he was the pole sitter and dropped back a little bit. But ever since he moved to 5th, he's looked very stable there indeed. Saying that he ran a little bit wide at that one there, so I don't want to jinx it or anything. But a few seconds behind Shepherd, certainly not being challenged by Jonathan Holmes either, who's in 6th place. Holmes doesn't seem to have the same pace that he had in race 1. I don't know if he's had an excursion, hit the wall. Maybe it's not like how the track is. But certainly not the driver that we saw in the first race. Meanwhile, Sephiroth, he has got past Wutke Hoekstra, then he moves up into 2nd place. And Hoekstra back down 3rd, so Hoekstra perhaps not on for another 2nd place finish here today. He might have to settle for only his 2nd, 3rd place finish of the season. But we're out though, really getting held up a little bit there by Casper Unwin. Across the start finish line. Able to keep away from Hoekstra. Meanwhile, Rennick Hoekstra then, he has retired from the race and he's the 4th retiree of the race so far. Vincent Dyke also retiring about a lap ago there, so not bad in terms of the amount of guys who have retired. Certainly the wet weather just catching them out a little bit. So 2 laps left to go in this race then, and Brewer has brought the gap down to 4 seconds between himself and Brewer. To have a bit of traffic to contend with. Richard Brooks ahead of him, gets past him. I think it's going to really have to be a mistake from Brewer now if Rot wants to take a double here today. No driver has managed to win both races in a round so far, mainly because most of these drivers haven't really been able to win multiple races in the championship. It has been that competitive, that good quality of field and racing. Mark van der Broek just making a mistake coming out the final corner. He loses a couple of positions. Michael Galka goes past Gerrit de Vries, then 15th place. That moves himself up. So Daniel Brewer then, he starts his final lap of the race. And he's just got to do this lap one more time. Gap has come down to 2.7 seconds, so certainly Brewer is the quicker driver right now. But I think he's just going to be about a lap short here. Had it been 13 laps, it might have been a different story. He might have got to the rear of Brewer's car by the end of the lap, and it might just put a bit of pressure on Brewer. That maybe we could have seen a final lap scrap. But I think this time around, Brewer's got pretty covered. Needs to keep it on the dry bit of the racetrack and not worry too much about what's going on behind him. Hoekstra then trying to stick with Rot, but falling a couple of seconds back, and we have to settle for 4th place. Whoa, look at that one. I think that was Galka just went off the track there, right in front of Brewer, so a bit of drama there for Brewer to contend with right at the end of this race. And well, Ruot managed to get through that as well. The gap you can clearly see has come down between the two, but I don't think it's going to be enough. We've only got 2 corners left to go. Brewer just needs to take this final chicane nice and cleanly, and he will be able to take his 3rd win of the season, I think it is. Here we go, as it comes across the stop shine, and Daniel Brewer does indeed take the win of this race by 0.6 of a second in the end. So Stefan Ruot really pushed hard right up until the very end there, but Daniel Brewer then taking his 3rd win of the season. He's going to be very happy with that. I'm sure he feel he has redeemed himself for race 1. Stefan Ruot, though, he picks up the 2nd place and continues his impressive run of form of constant podium finishes. And well, a great round for him. It could have only been one better had he picked up the win. And hold on a sec. All of a sudden here, I'm seeing that Upke Hoekstra has had an issue on the final lap then, and he's dropped down to 5th. So Chris Shepherd takes a podium here. He takes 3rd. Thomas and Triami Harisoa, great reward for him. He manages to pick up a 4th place, of course, because Hoekstra's finished down in 5th. Jonathan Holmes, just no pace there. 2nd race today, he comes home 6th. Not the same race that he had in race 1, but still good haul of points for him. Finishing behind all of his championship challenges. And well, interesting stuff then, really. Interesting to see what happened to Hoekstra. I'll have to catch him after the race, hopefully in an interview. See what happened. Eric Stafford then, another great result for him, picking up 7th after his 5th place in race 1, showing that it wasn't a fluke, and he certainly did have the pace around here today, and he should be very happy with the 2 results, his 2 best results of the season so far. Great deal of points for him, Mazurek Racing as well, and well, I hope he doesn't forget this round for a while, because he's done an excellent job, and hats off to him. Teo Janovic could have won this one, really. He had a good healthy lead and just lost it going into the final couple of corners very early on in the race. Mary Clunt picks up 9th place for positive, with Joe Watts getting into the top 10 in this 2nd race here. So doing a bit better than he did in the 1st race. I'm sure he's happy with that one. Rob Mason, not the best races for him. Finished 11th, but still some points on the board. Ryan Nash picking up 12th. Roy Vassal then in 13th, with Gerrit de Vries still on his way home in 14th, but he's lost his rear wing. Well, making a bit of a meal of it, really, getting back to the pits. He's your final driver on the track, final driver on the lead lap as well, just about, but about 4 minutes behind. Michael Galgan in 5th, with Marco van der Broek in 15th with Galgan. But Van der Broek 16th and Casper Unwin in 17th, all 1 lap down. Richard Brooks 2 laps down, and then Rennick Hoekstra, Vincent Dijk, Johan Lindberg, and Wesley Stefano, all non-finishes in that race. So, great couple of races here today at Bruno. The weather really did play its part. Really kind of a lot of action and quite a few offs and cars going into the barrier as well. But just about, I'd say, we got there. Maybe we could have seen a bit less battles up front, but can't have it every weekend. You can't be that picky. There's still some good, interesting stuff, and Rots nearly caught for right at the end of the 2nd race there. I think 1 lap more, and we would have seen a good scrap between those 2 for the win, but it didn't quite happen. And Rot has settled the 2nd place here today in the 2nd race. I'm hoping we'll have some interviews. Just waited for 1 or 2 drivers to pop down for some interviews. So we'll give it a minute or 2. If not, that'd be a shame, really. It'd be nice to have a couple of interviews to end the day and just to get everyone's views on what happened. And of course, apologies once again for me missing a bit of race 2 there. I just had a bit of issues. Very rare for to lose connectivity to my PC, but it happened here. And well, I missed a few laps, but I'm sure you guys still got some lovely pictures from Argo, our cameraman, Argo Stair, cameraman extraordinaire, who's done a fantastic job here today once again. Gonna give it a couple more minutes. Yeah, it looks like actually we are gonna get someone to come in for an interview. So, oh, we're gonna have 2 guys for an interview at least. So excellent stuff. Pull them in, I think.
User was moved to your channel. User was moved to your
There
channel.
we go. Moving. And great. So I was getting a bit worried there. I thought I was going to have I thought maybe I was going to have to go interview my pet goldfish or something like that instead. But that's not the case. And we do have 2 guys here to speak to. And of course, as I always do, I'll start off with a race winner for my first interview. And that, of course, is Stefan Rort. And Stefan, a great day for you, really. A good couple of results, both in race 1 and in race 2 as well. Good, healthy points. But of course, the win was the big thing. And it's your second race 1 win in a row. So you must be feeling pretty pleased right now.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. It was quite an exciting race. It started raining right from the beginning and in warm up, and then at the race start it was wet, but the sun was out, so no one actually knew what tires to choose.
User was moved to your channel.
But yeah, I chose just the dry tires. Didn't actually know what to do. Put in some fuel and then see where we would go.
Yeah,
User was moved to your
stuff.
channel.
It looked like you were had some kind of incredible pace. I noticed it, especially towards the end of race 1. Once it rained again a little bit, and then it starts to dry out. You had some great pace there, and in the end, you were able to pull out a very comfortable looking victory.
Yeah, I think when we spoke last time, I think I told you that I'd never driven this track, and I didn't actually know
Yes.
what to expect. Yeah, but I really like it, and I think the setup that I already had for Spa or some other track really worked well. And also in the rain, it just felt good, comfortable, had lots of grip. Could drive, within my comfort zone, and just managed to pull a very big gap to Wopke.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. And in race 2 as well, then you picked up a second place, and in the end, you nearly put Daniel Brewer as well. Perhaps one more lap. I think that's probably what you needed then to have a real go at him, but still a good result nonetheless.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking. Just one more lap, please. But yeah, I think I saw the lap counter count down to just one more lap, and then 6 tenths on the line. But again, just a good race. Had some really nice fights with Wopke, with Chris, and managed to keep the car on track. And I think just by keeping the car on track today, you could really score some good points.
Certainly seemed to be the case with you, for sure, definitely. And one final question for me then. Of course, Tobias also picking up no points today at all. That means that you've moved into the main challenger position for going up against Woodkey to try and claim the championship. You're his main rival now. Do you think you can catch him?
Yeah, I think Wopke and I we've seen each other a lot on track this year, here in WCS and also in GP3 WC, and I think we're quite closely matched, and it will be very interesting. And always had good fights with him, so will be very fun as well.
Great. A nice little dramatic answer there. I like that one. So I thought I was going to get some feisty talk out of you, but
Sorry.
I'll settle with that. I'll settle with that. Anyway, Stefan, thank you very much for coming in, and congratulations once again on your third win of the season.
Thanks. See you next time.
Is right then. It does turn out that we've got a few more guys to interview now, so they like to come in late, but make me sweat a little bit. But we're going to reel through more of the interviewees. So up next, since you came into the room second, I won't keep you waiting any longer. Wupke Hoekstra, and Wupke, once again, a good day for you in terms of your championship. But again, just can't quite get that second win of the season.
Yeah, that's true, but to be honest, I don't mind. I never drove this track, just like Stefan. So, and I didn't really have time to practice a lot for the track, so I didn't really know what to expect from the race. And then I suddenly saw I was like 1.5 seconds off the pace, and luckily in qualifying I still managed P5, so that was pretty good. And then it started to rain. So I was already hoping that people would start making mistakes. It happened in race 1 mainly, even though I made a few mistakes myself as well, but still P2 is really good. And yeah, of course in race 2 I was in P3, and I made a mistake in the final corner. I got confused with the back marker. It was a misunderstanding between Marco and me, and I took him out, so it's unfortunate, but yeah, I apologized to him and it was fine. And well, it's just bad luck that happens, and we both lost some points, so but still P5 in the end, so I was lucky that I still got some good points there.
Yeah, that's a bit of a rarity for you to not even finish on the podium. It's only happened a handful of times before this season, but still, it's been a good one for you in terms of the points, and with Olsen not scoring as well. So are you feeling a little bit more comfortable now? Are you starting to worry about Rualt, who's of course been on a very good charge as of late?
Yeah, when I was looking at the standings, I was already quite worried about Ruout and Brewer and Holmes, but yeah, now it's mainly Ruout, it seems, and yeah, it's going to be exciting for sure. I mean, they have the momentum. I'm not sure how much they practice for the races, but I guess that if I do a little bit more work, I should be fine. I'm quite lazy, and I just want to race and then see what happens. But that's not ideal. I think I can get a few more tenths or maybe even a second out of the car if I get a better setup. But currently we can't find really what's the problem with the setup, so we're having some issues trying to improve the setup, and we tried all kinds of stuff, but I think we really have to go back to the basics and work from there and see like have a totally different setup, and maybe then we can improve, because it's really hard right now and they seem to have found something. So yeah, it's gonna be hard, but we'll see.
Is that concerning you then? Is that worry for the rest of the season that maybe you got a bit of disadvantage in the setup and that could harm you in the long run?
Yeah, kinda, but also at the same time I'm still doing fine. I'm getting top 5 consistently, so a lot of P2s as well. As long as I keep scoring those podiums, that's should be fine. I think I'm just hoping they will make a mistake every now and then we'll see. But I guess I have to try and work out something to improve.
Okay, good stuff. And I guess one final question from me then. Looking forward again, I always like to ask you your opinions. Nürburgring's the next track on the calendar in 2 weeks' time. Looking forward to it, or not really that bothered?
um, well, at least that's a track I know. That's always good. Yeah, I quite like the track, so it should be all right. I hope I can find the pace that I used to have, and then hopefully it will be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you never know. Next time I'm interviewing you, you might have picked up the second win of the season, but still doing an excellent job nonetheless. Continuing to pick up a big haul of points on your march for a second championship. But well, thank you very much for coming in, and wish you all the best, and see you again in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you. Next time I'll have 3 wins.
Oh, good point. I didn't think of that one. I didn't think of that one. I like that. That's very ballsy. Right then.
Okay.
Excellent, excellent. Right then. Got a couple more guys
User
to
left
interview
your
then,
channel.
and we'll keep these straight away to go do something else. But up next, a guy who's done an excellent job today. Well, actually, both guys who have got left to interview have done an excellent job today. But this guy, he's managed to pick up two good results in both race one and race two. A fifth in race one, a seventh place in race two, and that, of course, was Eric Stanford. And Eric, you've beaten your best result of the season so far and picked up a great haul of points today. It's almost like you're a different driver.
Yeah, I think it was something to do with weather, to be honest. I seem to just relax, let myself go and make no mistake, really.
It seemed to be the way about it today. Was it tricky out there, or was it just a case of usual stuff, just having to pay attention a little bit more?
I had to pay a lot more attention. I made a couple of mistakes, went wide a couple of times and had a sideways moment, but once I went into the pits, I felt fine again and just carried on my way.
Excellent stuff. How are you feeling towards the end of race one? Because you were at one point you were the final guy in the lead lap, and then you went a lap down, of course, when Roat got past you. But still had a healthy gap between yourself and Chris Shepherd behind you in sixth place. But you must have been thinking about the amount of points that you're about to bring in and your best result of the season.
Oh yeah, definitely. I saw Chris were closing me down quite a bit towards end, but I thought, just breathe, don't make any mistakes whatsoever, otherwise you're going to get fired.
Yeah, absolutely. And one final question from me then. Just amazing stuff that you've done today. Really has impressed me for both of your races. You looked very calm and cool, especially with everything going on around you. Do you think you can carry on this momentum going into the next round or so? Fairly similar style of tracks, but maybe the weather might be a bit more normal. So do you think you can get back into the points once again?
I think if the weather's dry, I probably won't be so high up, but hopefully I'll get a few points for the team. If it's anything like it was tonight, then chances are I could get another fifth, maybe two.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens then. I wish you all the best of luck, Eric, and once again, congratulations on your results today. Excellent job. Really, really impressed me.
Thank you very much. See you again soon.
Yeah, no problem. Right then, one final guy to interview, and I can only see his first name
User disconnected from your channel.
in TeamSpeak here, so I hope I'm speaking to who I think I am, and I believe that is Thomas Andriami Harisoa, and I hope I've got your name just about right now as well. So, hi there, Thomas. How you doing?
Hi, so yeah, you did it right. So I don't have to complain because you said it perfectly.
Excellent stuff. I've been trying all broadcasts, so I'm glad I finally got there. And I'm glad to see that speaking to Thomas. Then, great result today. Of course, you managed to sneak into the top 10 at the very end of race one, and then that set you up for pole in race two as well. And you did an excellent job to hold your own with some very quick drivers around you to pick up fourth place. So just talk me through your evening, because it was a very impressive couple of races from you.
Yeah, first race one was quite nice. Yeah, to say, don't even manage to finish P10 because I've been like 3 or 4 times and I crashed into the back to change my front wing, to change switch tires, and in the end I was on the right tire in the end, so I managed to pretty strong pace in the end and managed to finish P10. I actually forgot that P10 was pole position and that it was coming back on me in the end, but I was just trying to get top 10 position and told me later that it was pole position, so it was I was quite lucky to get pole position, so obviously I able to get P4 on race 2, so yeah, pretty happy for my first race in this league.
Yeah, great result, especially like you said, just starting out. Um, what was your feelings like when you were taking the field round in first place then at the start of race two and having to come to a grid that was still quite damp and you had a whole field of cars behind you? How are you feeling?
Well, I was already a bit surprised to be told because obviously I wasn't expecting anything for my first race. And yeah, when I saw that there was a bit some surprise out there, um, I was quite confident because I knew that I was not too bad in the plane, and I was just trying, wouldn't say take it easy, but I would try to stay at like 70% of the limit, so I can be pretty much safe. And I was just trying to get it to the finish line after 14 laps, and yeah, made a couple of mistakes, but it was just to get. I thought I would be finishing P5, but there was a bit of carnage on the last lap, so I managed to just finish P4 in the end.
Yeah, nice little surprise at the end for you there, and well deserved as well. Final question from me then. Looking to the future, are you planning to take part in more WCS races, and if so, how much of the rest of the season are you planning on doing?
Yeah, I'm planning to do the final races of the season, and see that next track is Nürburgring, a track I like a lot, so I hope I can at least match this result and maybe better. But yeah, I see some. I mean, Wednesday night is a good time for me, so yeah, hopefully, yeah, I hope I can do all the last races and have a lot of fun with all these guys.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, well, that's brilliant to hear. And welcome along to the league, and it's fantastic to have you here. And we look forward to seeing you here for the rest of the season as well. So for now, thank you very much, and yeah, hopefully I could be speaking to you again in a couple of weeks' time.
User left your channel.
Yeah, hopefully we can talk again, and hopefully it means that I made some pretty good job.
Absolutely, great stuff. Right then, um, that's it for the interviews then. Fantastic lineup of interviewees, and good to hear from a couple of different guys as well. That means that
User
we're
disconnected
pretty
from your
close
channel.
to the end of the broadcast then. Not much more else to say apart from what's coming up. I know I did it a little bit earlier, but it's good to always just recap once again. And of course, we've got the Renault Megans coming up here in WCS on Monday night, Monday the 18th of September next week at the same time. So join us along for that for a couple of good races, and yeah, hopefully Joshua Anderson will be here with me as well. And then in 2 weeks' time, Wednesday the 27th of September, the GP3s return here at the Nürburgring. Actually, they'll be going to the Nürburgring for the next round of the season as we head into the second half of the season in the GP3 Championship. So certainly hotting up right now, and one definitely not to miss out on. A great little track, the Nürburgring. So certainly tune in for that one if you can. But for now, that's pretty much all we've got time for. So thank you very much to you, Argo Tsair, who's been our cameraman for today. Done an excellent job of bringing you some great pictures and telling me about all the stuff that I've missed while I've been bubbling on the broadcast. So once again, Argo, thank you very much for taking your time to do this for us. And just say thanks to the drivers, all those who competed, and to you guys at home as well for tuning in and watching it. It's a pleasure to have you on board with us. And if you want to have a go as well, if you're interested, then you can go to wcsleague.net. It's a great little site, and everyone is certainly very helpful, and can help you get going as well if you're interested in racing in the league. So hopefully I'll be able to commentate on you on the track in a couple of weeks' time or so. But for now, that's it for me, Sam Jones, and I'll see you again next time out for the McGanns and also the GP3s in a couple of weeks' time. But for now, goodbye.